Living only an hour away from Cannock Chase, I'm lucky enough to consider it my local hunting ground for woodland photography. I've photographed it in various conditions across all seasons, but I've never been lucky enough to photograph it during a hoar frost. With the weather predicting such a phenomenon, myself and Steve took the short drive to Cannock, driving through thick, freezing fog, and it looked for once that the weather gods were on our side. However, on arrival there was no fog to be seen. But with no time to dwell on that, we persevered, and I'm so glad we did. We don't necessarily have the fog, but we do have the freezing. It's so cold. I don't normally really suffer with the cold that much, but I'm fully rugged up this morning, got my gloves on, and yeah, it's absolutely freezing. To the point, I couldn't get my tripod legs out. I've only walked 10 minutes from the car, so whatever moisture was on my tripod from the last time I was out, is obviously between there and here, just completely frozen up, and I just could not. Anyway, but I just couldn't get my tripod leg. I just could not get my tripod legs out. They were completely frozen up. So I took a tip off Steve actually, because he had the same issue yesterday. Got my coffee out and spilt it over one of the joints here to see if that could fray it up. After a bit of brutal force, I finally got it free. So I framed up a composition here, looking out towards the set of silver birch that are lining the side of this path. And from where I'm standing right now, you've got a lovely sweep in from the right-hand side. It goes straight in between the trees. There's three kind of main silver birches. One on the left-hand side has got a sort of lovely V shape. You've got one in the middle, which is kind of sort of just singular on its own. And then there's one on the right-hand side, which is like sort of got multiple branches coming out of it. And obviously with the frost that we have this morning, the hoar frost that we have on this heather and the grasses, just looks absolutely beautiful. And we've got some beautiful sort of pastel colours in the sky there. It's looking really, really quite nice. Just waiting for the sun to rise, because I think this will look absolutely beautiful if the sun comes up and just kisses the hoar frost here. So I've taken this shot. I'm in landscape orientation, just over 28mm, f11, currently a quarter of a second. And yeah, it's looking quite nice. There is a bush or a tree in the background, which I've placed in such a way that it's sitting nicely in between the sort of the two left-hand side of the trees. If I go slightly left or slightly right in the scene, it just kind of ruins it. It looks a bit unsightly. So it's looking quite nice in the back of the camera. And basically, there's a sort of row of trees on the right-hand side, and another silver birch here on the right-hand side, and a bush on the left-hand side here, which I was toying with removing in post, but actually having framed it up in such a way that I have now, it looks all right. It looks quite balanced, because you've got these sort of the two elements, if you like, the ridge line of the trees over there and this bush on the left-hand side kind of just balancing against each other. So yeah, actually, you know what? I'm quite happy with that. I'll take it as is. And then I'm going to have a look at another composition just over here now, trying to incorporate some of this hoar frost. But let me, for now, put this photo on screen for you. And yeah, I'll go and frame that one up. I've come over to the other side of the path now and framed up a lovely composition here. I've got the path this side coming in from the left-hand side, sweeping around into those trees that we were photographing a moment ago. But just at the bottom of the frame down here, you've got the hoar frost on these grasses that looks absolutely beautiful. So it's really all about this sweeping from the left-hand side, and then you've got this hoar frost that leads you all through there into the trees in sort of the top right-hand corner of the image. And you've still got that lovely pastel pink colour in the sky as well, just banding around the trees. It looks beautiful on the back of the camera. The bush that I was using in my last image to sort of anchor that left-hand side of the image, though, I do find a little bit of a distraction, I think, looking on the back of the camera here at the moment. So I may do something with that in post. We'll have to see, I'm not sure. We'll see how much it bothers me. But at the moment, I really do quite like this. It's such a wintry, calm-looking scene with these pastel colours we've got at the moment. It's really quite beautiful. So I'm going to put this one on screen for you now. And yeah, going to have a chat with Steve and see what we're going to do next. But we do have a touch of atmosphere in the air. We really do. It's going to be one of those mornings, I think it's going to change throughout the whole morning. So who knows? It's just really good to be out. So as beautiful as this is, it's very, very frustrating. Just trying to find the separation between the different trees we've got here. What I'm doing now, the sun's coming up, so I'm trying to make use of this beautiful Hoar Frost. It's absolutely stunning. And basically what I've done is I've got the camera down quite low here, and I've got these grasses just here, immediately in front of the camera, at 28mm in portrait orientation, just basically taking in the Hoar Frost on these grasses that lead you out to the trees there in the background. You still got a bit of touch of the path coming in from the left hand side, leading the out to the trees, and there's another set of silver birches on the sort of left hand side. It looks quite nice. I have got this bush here on the left hand side. It doesn't look nice in the back of the camera, I will be honest. That will be removed in post. What I'm also doing is I'm shooting at f16, which is the sort of smallest aperture on this lens at 28mm, just to try and get a bit of a sun star there. Looking quite nice in the back of the camera. Thinking possibly a 4x5 crop on this as well. I don't like my portraits, as I think I mentioned in my last video, to be too sort of elongated. So just cutting off a bit of the sky at the top there where there's no real detail, just the blue sky at the moment. Yeah, but anyway, I'm quite happy with this. Let me pop it on screen for you and see if we can get something else. It's a real struggle. It's beautiful, but it is a struggle. Right, Steve's made a really good suggestion, because it's that cold, this frost isn't going anywhere. So instead of messing around with this here at the moment, where we've got these quite bright skies, it looks like there's some atmosphere down the valley there. So I think we're going to head down there and see if we can try and make some use of that. Because if we can get some atmosphere and get the frost, it should be absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to go and catch up with Steve and see you down there. We've walked down the valley a bit. There's not much atmosphere down here, as much as before, but you can probably see here, it more than makes up for it. Beautiful, thick hoarfrost on these silver birch, set against the backdrop of a pine forest behind. That contrast between the darks and the sort of the highlights, it just looks absolutely spectacular. So painted, it's so beautiful. I've taken 3 different images. One is a pano using a silver birch on the left hand side, which was previously actually covered in shade, so it was looking quite cool in that sort of section of the photo. But these silver birch on the right hand side were all lit up with these beautiful warm tones. So you had that contrast between the sort of the warm tones and the cool tones, which looked beautiful. I have also taken a nice shot of a lone silver birch, which has got a peculiar shape to it, like a lollipop. It's just got this stick of the silver birch going up, and then there's these leaves just sort of balling out at the top. Again, lit up beautifully and set against that dark background of the pine forest behind. It looks absolutely beautiful on the back of the camera. That's the portrait orientation. And then I have just taken another shot as well in landscape orientation, excluding these ones on the right hand side. So it's all about that one that's lit up on the left hand side on its own at the moment. Set against the backdrop of that sort of, again, that shade in the background there. You've got that contrast again between the warm tones and the cool tones, which really does look quite nice. So yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say. Beautiful, beautiful scene. I just hope the shots look as good as they do on the back of the camera when I get back to the PC, which I'm pretty sure they will. So I'm going to put these 3 on screen for you now. Let me know what you think. You're going to have to excuse me, and you probably can't see me quite well, but basically we started to walk away from the last shots and come along this bank here. Now, you probably won't work it out because of the sun, but basically in the background there's some silver birch, which has got some beautiful hoar frost on them again. And with the sun shining through them, it's just glistening. It's a real, quite bright scene. Now, I don't know if it's going to work as a photo, but it's beautiful to the eye. I've taken a few different shots. I've taken one with basically a bunch of silver birch on the right-hand side, and there's a few on the left-hand side. Again, with the hoar frost being backlit by the sun, to me, it just looks absolutely beautiful. Really, really quite happy with that. And there's a lone silver birch over the left-hand side here. And I put that into a portrait orientation, and there's a little like bush next to it, which has also got some hoar frost on it. And kind of the silver birch is kind of arching over it slightly, which does look quite nice. So yeah, really happy with those. And I have just seen another composition, which I'm going to have a look at now. While I go and have a look at that, let me put these shots on screen for you, and then I'll talk you through my next composition. Right then, taking one more shot from this area, and you've got this main silver birch here, which looks absolutely beautiful with the hoar frost and the side light coming in. But just to the right of it, there's another silver birch. Now, when I was taking the shot, I'd noticed something strange. Nature in full effect, where you've got the angles of the branches on the tree on the right-hand side, mirroring perfectly almost the branches on the main central tree there. Just if you were to put them together, they'll kind of fit in there, interlock perfectly. Bizarre. Anyway, really nice scene, really wintry looking scene. Let me pop it on screen for you. I'm sure Steve's doing something behind me, but God knows what. Anyway, let's move on. So we've been walking for quite a while now, and a lot of the frost is unfortunately starting to melt. So Steve nearly landed on his ass. Don't know if you heard that. You all right?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we're really struggling. Frost is starting to melt quite a bit. We're walking round the base of one of these hills to try and get in more in the shade, where a lot more of this frost should be sticking to the trees. So that's the plan anyway. So we'll walk down this way a little bit, about 5 minutes, and see what it's like over there.
You look considerably bigger than me.
I was just thinking, I'm actually standing on a little hill. Steve isn't really this short, although if you watched last week's video,
I was very short.
he was very short and very cold.
Very snow looking.
We've been walking for a while now, and we've come to the conclusion, I think we've had the best of it today.
Yeah.
It's all rapidly melting very fastly. All rapidly melting very fast. I have no idea what I'm saying. So yeah, I think we're going to call it, to be honest with you. We'll walk back towards the van anyway. If we see anything on the way back, I'll stop and have a chat, but it's not looking very likely. So I do hope you've enjoyed this. As is usually the case when I'm out with this guy, B-roll goes out the window. So it's probably just me, mainly me talking and photos. So I hope you don't mind. But yeah, I've still had a fantastic morning. I think I've got some stunning images. I really do. And yeah, go and check out Steve's channel as well. He'll have the video up from here shortly, I'm sure. He'll probably get home and finish editing it in 15 minutes of getting home. Knowing him.
Yeah.
But yeah, go and have a look at his channel, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. See you soon.